For centuries, space seemed worthless. Today, it may have created the world's first trillionaire. For most of human history, space seemed priceless in the most literal sense. Not valuable, not profitable, just a vast, empty expanse beyond Earth's atmosphere. For centuries, the night sky inspired philosophers, astronomers, explorers, and dreamers, but almost nobody looked at the stars and imagined trillion-dollar industries. Today, that assumption is beginning to change. In recent years, private space companies have attracted enormous investments. Satellites connect millions of people. Rockets launch more frequently than ever before. Governments and corporations are planning missions that would have sounded impossible only a few decades ago. And at the center of this transformation stands a surprising question. How much is space actually worth? The question became even more interesting when analysts began discussing a possibility that once seemed unimaginable. Could the space industry help create the world's first trillionaire? Some financial analysts believe that if companies such as SpaceX continue growing at their current pace, Elon Musk could eventually become the first person in history to reach a net worth of $1 trillion. Whether that happens or not is still uncertain, but the fact that serious investors are even discussing the possibility tells us something remarkable. Space is no longer viewed only as a destination for exploration. It is increasingly being viewed as an economic frontier, a place where entirely new industries may emerge, a place where fortunes may be created, and a place where the next chapter of human development could unfold. But to understand how we reached this moment, we first need to go back to a time when space was never expected to make anyone rich. Long before private rockets and billion-dollar space companies, space exploration was almost entirely controlled by governments. During the 20th century, reaching space required enormous resources. Only nations could afford the technology, infrastructure, and expertise necessary to launch missions beyond Earth. The space race between the United States and the Soviet Union became one of the defining stories of the Cold War. Achievements such as Sputnik, Yuri Gagarin, and the Apollo moon landings were historic milestones. But they were not business ventures. They were national projects. Governments spent vast sums of money to achieve scientific breakthroughs, geopolitical influence, and technological prestige. Profit was rarely part of the conversation. For decades, that model remained largely unchanged. Space agencies launched satellites. Governments funded exploration. Scientific discoveries expanded humanity's understanding of the universe. Yet very few people imagined that private companies would someday dominate the industry. The barriers seemed too high, launches were expensive, technology was specialized, and the risks were enormous. As a result, many assumed space would always remain dependent on public funding. But technology has a way of changing assumptions. As computers became more powerful and engineering became more efficient, new opportunities began to emerge. Entrepreneurs started asking a different question. What if space could become sustainable not through government budgets alone, but through commercial activity? What if rockets could become cheaper? What if satellites could provide services to millions of customers? And what if space itself could become an economy? Those questions would eventually lead to one of the biggest shifts in the history of space exploration. When SpaceX was founded in 2002, many experts were skeptical. Private companies had participated in aerospace before, but few believed a new company could dramatically reshape the economics of spaceflight. At the time, launching payloads into orbit was extremely expensive. Each rocket was largely disposable. After completing its mission, much of the hardware was lost. The cost of reaching space remained one of the industry's biggest obstacles. SpaceX approached the problem differently. Instead of treating rockets as single-use machines, the company focused on reusability. The idea was simple in theory, but difficult in practice. If rockets could land safely and fly again, launch costs could potentially fall. Over time, SpaceX successfully demonstrated reusable boosters, changing expectations throughout the industry. The impact extended far beyond engineering. Lower launch costs made new business models possible. More satellites could be deployed. More missions could be planned. More organizations could participate in space activities. Then came Starlink, Rather than focusing only on transportation, SpaceX began building a global satellite internet network. Thousands of satellites entered orbit, creating one of the largest space-based communication systems ever assembled. Investors started viewing SpaceX differently. It was no longer simply a rocket company. It was becoming part launch provider, part communications network, and part infrastructure platform. And as the company's influence expanded, so did its valuation. For the first time, people began discussing a space company in the same conversations as the world's largest technology firms. The question was no longer whether space could generate wealth. The question became how much wealth it could generate. When most people think about wealth in space, they often imagine something dramatic: gold-filled asteroids, rare minerals, or futuristic colonies on distant planets. But today's space economy is built on something much closer to Earth: information, communication, and infrastructure. Every day, thousands of satellites orbit our planet, performing tasks most people rarely think about. They help guide airplanes, support navigation systems, provide weather forecasts, monitor crops, track ships, enable financial transactions, and connect remote communities to the internet. Modern civilization relies heavily on systems operating far above Earth's surface. Without satellites, many services we take for granted would become slower, less accurate, or in some cases impossible. This is why governments and private companies continue investing billions of dollars into space-based technologies. The value is not simply in reaching orbit. The value comes from what happens after you get there. Companies are now competing to build networks capable of serving millions of users worldwide. Others are developing new observation systems that can monitor environmental changes, natural disasters, and economic activity across the globe. Future opportunities may expand even further. Researchers continue exploring concepts such as asteroid mining, orbital manufacturing, and space-based solar power. Most of these industries are still in their early stages, but they share one common idea. Space is no longer viewed as a destination, it is becoming infrastructure. And history has shown that whoever controls critical infrastructure often controls some of the most valuable industries on Earth, which raises an even bigger question. If the space economy continues growing, who stands to benefit the most? For most of history, becoming the richest person in the world meant controlling resources on Earth: oil, steel, railroads, manufacturing, technology. But the possibility being discussed today is something entirely different. For the first time, analysts are openly debating whether the path to the world's first trillionaire could run through space. Much of that discussion centers around Elon Musk and SpaceX, not because a trillion-dollar fortune already exists, but because of what SpaceX has become. The company is no longer viewed solely as a launch provider. It operates one of the largest satellite networks ever created. It serves governments, businesses, and consumers, and it continues expanding its role in the global space industry. As private valuations of SpaceX have increased, so has speculation about Musk's future net worth. Some analysts suggest that if current growth trends continue, he could eventually become the first person in history whose wealth reaches $1 trillion. Whether that prediction becomes reality remains uncertain. Markets change, industries evolve, and future competition will undoubtedly emerge. But the discussion itself reveals something remarkable. A generation ago, nobody expected a space company to be part of this conversation. Today, investors, economists, and governments are watching the sector closely, because the rise of companies like SpaceX suggests that the space economy may be entering a new phase. One where wealth is created not only from what exists on Earth, but from what humanity builds beyond it. And if this is only the beginning, the future may be even more surprising than the present. For thousands of years, humanity looked at the night sky and saw mystery. Ancient civilizations saw gods. Explorers saw destinations. Scientists saw questions waiting to be answered. But today, a new perspective is emerging. Investors see opportunity. Entrepreneurs see markets, and entire industries see a future that extends far beyond Earth. The space economy is still young. Many of its biggest promises remain unproven. Asteroid mining has not yet become a reality. Permanent settlements on other worlds do not yet exist, and nobody knows exactly how large this new economy may eventually become. Yet the direction is becoming increasingly clear. More satellites are entering orbit, more private companies are joining the industry, more nations are investing in space infrastructure, and more capital is flowing toward technologies designed to expand humanity's presence beyond Earth. Whether Elon Musk becomes the world's first trillionaire or not, may ultimately be a small part of a much larger story. Because the real transformation is not about one person. It is about an entire frontier opening before our eyes. A frontier that was once considered unreachable. A frontier that now connects billions of people every day. And a frontier that may help shape the next century of human civilization. So perhaps the question was never really about money. Perhaps the real question is this: what happens when humanity stops seeing space as a destination and starts seeing it as part of its future? The answer is still being written, right now, above our heads. If you enjoyed this journey, don't stop here. Explore more incredible stories on PointView, from hidden worlds discovered by NASA to mysterious ocean worlds, distant exoplanets, the search for another Earth, the secrets of Voyager, and the greatest mysteries of the universe. Because every discovery changes the way we see our place in the cosmos. And the next great discovery may be closer than we think.